What's up, everyone? Welcome to Gold Radio. As always, I'm your host, Gus.
Kay Walsh.
What's up, Kevin? How you been?
Can't complain, man. Been pretty good, honestly. Things have been going well. A lot of good sports going on in the world. A lot of good news. Just a lot of exciting stuff, man.
Yeah, for sure. And, right before we get off into, our soccer stuff, because this is Gold Radio, here at Gold Radio, we like to acknowledge all other sports as well. We just like to say congrats to the Chicago Cubs for winning the World Series yesterday.
Man.
Great game yesterday.
Pretty awesome. 108 years. That is quite the drought.
That is quite a drought.
That's honestly insanity.
Yeah, I mean, hey, oh man, there's a lot of there's just like a timeline of between that 108 years. I think the last time they won the World Series was 1908. Yeah, and I was watching the game yesterday, and they were showing what happened in 1908, and I was just like, wow, who would have thought?
That is the equivalent of Barcelona not winning the Champions League for 108 years. Could you imagine?
I couldn't.
It's hard to imagine them not winning it once every 3 years.
Yeah.
108.
108 years.
A lot of talent played in Wrigley Field for the Cubs in that time span.
Yeah, dude.
Honestly, this team though was very special. They might only have to wait just one more season until they get the next World Series, because that team is insanely talented.
Yeah, honestly, and there was a Game 7 that's a forced game because there's only 6 games in the series, and they wanted it that bad. So
that was great.
Congrats to them. But anyways, let's jump right into our soccer news. Exciting news. Let's go into the German side. Lewandowski says he will stay at Bayern and he will reject any offers from Real Madrid.
Torn here on this.
Really?
I really always saw him going to Real. I really felt like I always thought that would happen. A part of me actually always kind of thought him and Marco Reus would end up at Real, and that would be the way the two of them would kind of come together once again. Obviously, great friends from their time at Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, then Lewandowski makes the move to Bayern Munich. The two of them, I think it was the first time they ever played. You saw them line up from across each other and just kind of smile and laugh and wink. Very real friendship that you saw between the two, and I thought the two of them might say, you know what, let's move on to a club like Real Madrid where we can both be really special. A part of me still feels like it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. when you hear about these players, moving into, the top two, that are being talked about, Barcelona, Madrid. That's always the top two. They're always being talked about. A player like Lewandowski, where he pretty much is always up front, roam, up in the front, and then when he has the ball, he can do a lot with it. I just feel like if he goes to Real Madrid, he's gonna have I don't think he'll be able to do what he does what he does at Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, because he's the center person in Bayern. If he were to go to Real Madrid, most likely he'd probably take Rodriguez's spot, or he might take the center spot. Who knows? They're always moving around. So I don't know. I just feel like he wouldn't have that great chemistry at Real Madrid. I mean, it's all about the chemistry. You could see that him at Bayern Munich. He definitely has the chemistry there. He's been playing the Bundesliga for quite a while now, and I don't know. I just feel like he just would not adapt to Zidane's playing style.
Yeah, the thing about soccer is I feel like it's players move a lot, don't they?
They
do.
You
feel, right? Not often does a player stay at one club a whole career.
Unless you're Steven Gerrard. I mean, not Steven Gerrard. Totti.
But he's a rarity.
Yeah.
But I think there's a bit of the fact that also Totti is Italian.
Yeah.
Lewandowski is Polish. So
yeah, true.
There's a difference there. He's already switched clubs before, so he's made that move. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I've come to just terms with the fact that soccer is just filled with rumors.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much I'm ever supposed to believe of anything.
No, yeah, of course.
You know, January transfer window will come around, and United will be linked to Neymar, Bale, and Ronaldo.
Of course, always.
And they will get none of them.
Well, I mean, Real for sure will never get Neymar. I mean, you could probably throw as much money out to Neymar, he probably will not accept it. Reason being, he's part of the best, three, up three, in a long time, MSN. Obviously, with Barcelona, they're obviously, doing something right to keep him there. They're making him feel, I guess at home, to keep him there, to have him, extend that contract until 2021. So, they're doing something right at Barcelona, which he loved. And I guess him being Brazilian, and I guess him growing up seeing Ronaldinho, Brazilian, another Brazilian player that did wonders at Barcelona, he probably wants to leave his, his legacy there, just like Ronaldinho. I mean, Ronaldinho, after Barcelona, kind of went back to Brazil, played a little there. After that, he kind of just, stopped playing. But he is back at Barcelona, not playing, but he is part of Barcelona's, I forgot what it was, but he has to do something. He's working with Barcelona. That's, let's put it at that. Who knows? Maybe in the future, Neymar might be, coaching the youth side squad or something. Who knows? He could be doing something with Barcelona in the near future. Once he decides that, once he decides to hang up the boots.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how everything comes to its end.
True.
Everything seems always has an interesting end.
For sure.
Very rarely do you have a Totti.
True. All right, so speaking of Barcelona, very, very sad news for me and all of the Barcelona fans. Very exciting news for Man City fans. Man City beats Barcelona 3-1 the other day. Gundogan 2 goals, De Bruyne 1 goal, and then Messi the only goal for Barcelona.
Yeah, I mean, quite the game, wasn't it? Really good, honestly. I think Manchester City fans, though, need to kind of relax. Here's my thing. So on Twitter, biggest win in club's history.
Right.
That's terrible, in my personal opinion. Let me just
terrible in what way?
Standards and say that is your club's biggest victory of all time. Let me just explain.
Okay, let's see.
Let me explain why.
Let's hear this.
So, Manchester City have won the Premier League before.
Yes.
They actually won it in the most dramatic fashion that anybody will ever win the Premier League. I don't know but the Aguero goal, where United finished the game tied, and then in extra time, Aguero put 2 in to not only draw them level, but then to give them
the lead.
Yeah. They beat out their in-town rival. That right there has to be the biggest victory in club history. But I understand the argument is, well, it's Barcelona.
Yeah.
We've never beaten Barcelona. Barcelona's great. Everybody wants to be Barcelona. That's why they have Pep, because they want to be Barcelona. But it's a Champions League group game. It's the group stage.
Yeah.
Barcelona 2 weeks ago lost to Celta Vigo 4-3. Barcelona loses games. I don't know if that happens. It happens every single season to a team like Celta Vigo, who if City were to play would probably thrash them. This to me is the worst part, though, is that it was in the group stage. The two teams had just played back-to-back in the way the group stage worked. So you can pretend this was the knockout stage, leg 1 in Barcelona, leg 2 in Manchester. They would have lost and been knocked out because they lost the first game 4-0.
Right.
So, on aggregate, they would have lost 5-3. So, would they have still been happy to beat Barcelona in a second leg fixture that would have still seen them knocked out? It's the group stage. You're still second in the group. It is not really going to ultimately can't be your club's biggest victory. It's a great win. It's a great momentum builder. And the run that Pep was on, which was his worst managerial run of all time, yeah, this is huge.
Right.
Can't be your biggest one of all time. You have to relax. They were taking these shots at United fans saying, oh, United just announced a sponsorship with a pillow. We just beat Barcelona. And it's like, you beat Barcelona and you're still mentioning Manchester United. It shows how big the rivalry is.
Right.
That moment where United won their game and you were down a goal and you needed 2 and extra time to win, that should be your moment forever. But you get caught up because Messi, Neymar, and Suarez are on the other side. You were down 1-0 and you pretend it's your club's biggest victory. That's, to me, if that is actually what Manchester City fans think, I think that's really poor. Because it's a group stage Champions League game, and if this were on aggregate, they would have lost 5-3.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, great win. All credit to you.
Of
like,
course.
if we're gonna just talk about the game itself, it's a fantastic win. City looked real sharp.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking in regards to just labeling it as the biggest win in your club's history. Like, for sure, hold yourself to a higher standard.
Right.
Because it can't be. A group stage Champions League victory cannot be your highest win ever.
Okay. I agree with you on that, for sure. For sure. Applause to them for beating Barcelona. It's great. Pep's got a win over against his old team, for sure.
Yeah.
We can say that now. And you are right. It was just a group stage game, for sure. Like, everything that you said is so valid. And beating Barcelona, yeah, that's great. Like, it's Barcelona. Like, they're the top, they're the team that everyone looks up to. They're the team that everyone wants to mimic off.
Especially City now that they have Pep.
Exactly. Pep, being Bayern's old manager, Barcelona's old manager, even being a former Barcelona player himself as well. Like, Pep knows Barcelona, but he doesn't know the Barcelona right now that Luis Enrique is coaching right now. But you're right. Like, it's just a group stage game. It's not like you beat them in the Champions League. If it was a final game, yeah, that's a whole different talk right there then. That's for sure. That's a whole different talk.
I think if it were Tottenham, who qualified for Champions League this year,
Right.
have never won a Premier League title, maybe for Tottenham, that'd be the biggest win in their club's history.
Even if it was like Leicester City.
But even Leicester, I think them winning the trophy last year,
Yeah.
the only thing that can top that is them winning Champions League. Like, I just
No, I get you. I get your point.
I just can't imagine.
But in like win histories, like against playing other clubs, being Barcelona, if you were a Leicester City, yeah, that's a huge, that's a
I
huge
think-
like victory in the books right there. You beat the best team.
I guess what I would say is if you were Leicester and you had to boil it down to one singular game, you could make that argument. That's
Yeah.
the biggest singular game.
Oh, for sure.
That I'm okay with.
Yeah.
But I still don't think you can make that argument for Manchester City because of how that year that they won the trophy ended.
Right.
You can't. You simply cannot. There's no way that your 3-1 group stage on a Tuesday victory against Barcelona mattered more than when Aguero put 2 in extra time.
That's true.
There's no way.
I mean, I don't know. It's interesting with some. Let's not target all Man City fans because not all Man City fans are like are have that mindset of like, oh wow, we just beat Barcelona. We're like the best team now. No, that's not it. It's like, relax. It's just one game. There's many other games to come in the future. Like, okay, you got a 3-1 win. That's great. At least Barcelona if it was like a 3-0 shutout game, like, yeah, then all right, you can somewhat spark it up a bit, but it's still a 3-1 game.
The reason why I think that's my biggest takeaway from the game as a whole is because realistically, the impact that it has on everything, it doesn't help Manchester City in the Premier League table-wise.
Not at all.
Momentum-wise, it'll help them.
Yeah, sure.
But table-wise has no impact.
No, not at all.
Whether this helps, is it going to prevent Barcelona from getting out of the group stage? No. Would Manchester City have made it out the group stage had they lost this game? Probably. I can't imagine that they wouldn't have.
Right.
Is anybody under the impression that Manchester City is going to beat Barcelona if these two draw in the round of 16? No, because we saw it. They just played 2 in a row. One at Barcelona and one at City. They lost 5-3 in aggregate.
I don't know, honestly. But again, like we said, there's those Man City fans that think that this was like the biggest win of all time. And then there's those that are like, okay, they just see it as a win. That's it. Just nothing but another game in the books. Time to move on.
Yeah, no, I am 100. That's just how I look at it. And I feel like, listen, the one of the reasons why I'm going this route is because it's just all praise right now. Mm-hmm. And I just think there has to be a realistic bubble around the whole thing.
I hear you. There are those teams that just keep talking about it. But it's like, that game's over. Like, okay, that's great. If you keep thinking about it into the next week's game, you're going to lose because your head's still in last week where you won a game. But, hello, newsflash, there's going to be more games ahead of you, so you might as well say, okay, that's it. We won the game. Cool. Now let's move on. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep showing people that we probably are a potential to win the Champions League, but knowing Man City, they probably won't make it to the final. That's just my opinion. But honestly, if we had like a Man City fan with us right now, I would love to hear what they would have to say.
I would love to ask Jersey Joe his opinion.
You know what? Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try to get Jersey Joe to come in, or at least give us some sort of soundbite.
Just some. I mean,
because I would love to hear what he has to say about it. Because you know he's a Man City fan. We all know he's a Man City fan.
Let me give you this hypothetical, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I don't even think it's that out on a limb. Manchester City win the Manchester City win the Premier League this year.
Okay.
And are knocked out of Champions League round of 16.
Okay.
Whichever one. That's very realistic.
That is very realistic.
Is their most memorable moment of the season going to be when they beat Barca in a group stage game? It can't be. It just can't be.
It can't be. No, it cannot.
That is, to me, why I just think a realistic telescope view of this entire thing, incredible win. It could be a massive momentum switch for you, considering the run that the team was on, the form that the team was in.
Mm-hmm.
But you boil it down to one singular moment. If you don't take momentum out of this,
right,
and if you don't beat a Barcelona in a round of 16 in a knockout stage game, then what will it actually have made the difference?
Right. I mean, I don't know.
I just think for a club that wants to be on the level of Barcelona, hold yourself to a higher standard.
Of course.
That's why Pep is there, because Manchester City, with all the cash that they have, and now with the manager to match it, are under the impression that I would believe within 5 seasons maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know how long they are given. Maybe 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in year 3 of Pep. They anticipate on being 100% legitimate Champions League contenders. They made it to the Final Four last year. Nobody thought they were going to win, but they were there.
Yeah.
So hold yourself to a higher standard. Yeah. You won a group stage game at home. You're supposed to.
Yeah, but anyways, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back into some more soccer news.